What's up, y'all? Blackout The Rebel, Bell to Bell podcast. And yeah, so today I want to take a second and talk about Danhausen. So recently, I had a conversation with my brother Mainstream, shout outs to him, and we were discussing Danhausen cursing Liv Morgan a couple of days ago, which cost Liv the victory when she went against Io Sky at Night of Champions. Now, originally, the conversation was about how you don't want to use Danhausen to start doing get out of jail free cards, basically, because that's what he has been doing. But it's just been on the mid card level and as a jobber backstage. We are now entering main event levels when you're dealing with people like Liv Morgan. This is going to be a problem because too easily are they going to be able to write some shit in there and have Danhausen be the catalyst and the reason. Like I could easily see a world where Danhausen curses Roman Reigns, or he curses the Vision, and Seth Rollins is the reason and that's the reason why Seth is able to win, or something like that. It's just too easy and it's just too lazy writing. So I do have a problem with that. I think that Danhausen has to be meticulously used because it's too easy to where it can become stale. And honestly, I feel like we're already kind of going down that path because, I mean, how many times have we seen Danhausen being used recently? Like, it's ridiculous. Obviously, he's a legacy at this point, so you don't have to see him so much, and it's perfectly fine. But when you use Ron Killings, when you use R-Truth, it's kind of sporadic. It doesn't happen all the time. Even with him being a tag team champion right now, you still don't get that every single time. But it seems like every single Monday you're seeing Danhausen, or you're Friday, whatever the case may be. So the overextension of Danhausen and his gimmick is going to be the downfall of Danhausen and WWE, because yes, he is their moneymaker, but just like you had Jey Uso being a moneymaker, if you're going to give us too much of something, eventually it's going to turn to shit. You have to be meticulous with how you spread that out. Sorry about that. I'm trying to make sure I get all the sunlight. So yeah, but the problem that I have is, or at least the problem that I see over the horizon, is the fact that Danhausen is going to be the precursor to how WWE moves forward with storylines and writing. Danhausen, I feel like, is the baby infant version of AI. They're going to use AI to curate and run their storylines and their writing for here on out. This is not definite, but this is just a prediction, just based off of everything that I've been witnessing and seeing. If you don't believe me, you can look back a couple of months when they did an AI vignette for Sol Ruka and Zarya on NXT. I think that was just a trial, just to see how it would come out and just to see the reception from the fans. And it wasn't too receptive. So with that in mind, you know they don't care about the fans. They're just trying to do as much as they can for as little as they can to get as much as they can. But yeah, with Danhausen, I love him. I think he's extremely funny. I think he's charismatic. I think it comes natural and easy to him. But at the same time, I think they're going to start using him to a point where it's not going to be fun anymore. It's going to become lazy, and there's going to be certain storylines where it's not necessary, like Night of Champions, for instance. There's no reason why Liv Morgan even had to be in that competition to begin with, let alone have to go against somebody like Io Sky, and that has to be the reason why the Io won. Io is too extremely talented of a wrestler for that to be part of the reason why she won. So that's my take, and that's my feelings toward Danhausen and what I see on the horizon. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'm going to continue to walk my dog, and I'm going to holler at y'all. Y'all take it easy.